Hello and welcome. I hope you're safe and well. In today's exciting episode, I am making more components or little dangly bits so that I can make necklaces. And then right at the end, I get out some different chains and give you an idea of what they're going to look like. Maybe.
It's perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect jacket.
I suppose I should make a different title sequence that has jewellery in it, but I have to actually make some jewellery first. So this is what my workbench looked like at the end of the last video. It's an absolute, everything is everywhere. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tip the ones that are on takeaway lids into takeaway containers, then use the lids. I'm just going to shuffle things around and then neaten things up and push everything back a little bit because you sort of have to, I've got fabric down so that all the beads don't roll off, but you also need fabric because a lot of the beads are glass and the hole in them is drilled for some of them, and the gemstone ones as well, so that dirt gathers inside there. So sometimes you have to, and then when all the beads are in a bag, the dirt goes on other beads, so you sort of have to wipe them off occasionally. So you need a bit where you can just wipe your beads and your mat gets a little bit dirty, but it doesn't matter. So I tidied things up and moved everything back a little bit. And I'm not sure, I'm in two minds about these smaller bows. I like them and they're the right colour, but the other bigger, they are more expensive bows, are just so much more impressive. So I think, I don't know, I think I'll make some of them up and maybe I'll end up using them on different necklaces. I think it'd be cute to use both, but we'll see. I'll keep them in the mix for the moment, but I'm not sure. Anyway, and here we go. So I've put the lids on so what I'm going to do is mix just green ones with different coloured ones that also have olivey green in there and the acid green. So I've got a box for the bows. Actually, I'm going to switch those out, and I need another box as well for the longer flowers. So yeah, I really need more of them. The longer ones, I need a lot more of them because there's going to be, in the center of every necklace, there's going to be a couple of the longer ones just to make it a focal point. So this is me trying to show you the difference between the long ones. So all of them have the same standard 5 centimeter pin. Because some flowers have a longer bell shape, you can put the pin up higher inside, so they end up being much longer than the standard ones. So that's why I'm keeping them in separate containers, and I'm going to use them at for different parts of the necklace. So yes, I clearly need a lot more for the center ones. I suppose you could do some necklaces that are all the same length all the way around, but yeah, I also just had some of those flowers and I was like, I could do a few that are long in the center and just sort of give it a little bit more focus. Anyway, so then I just tipped out all these lovely pearls. Actually, I think I'm going to save some of those darker ones for I've got another Chanel tweed jacket in sort of rich teals, blues and greens, so I think I might save some of the darker greens for that. The dark olivey green does match the silk that I used to line the jacket, and that's why I put them in there, but I think based on how many pearls I am currently using up, I should save some of them for the other one because yeah, I can use the light pink and the mauve ones on this one. So yes, that is what I'm doing about that. And this is me just showing you all the different flowers. So some of them are the bell-shaped ones where the pin can go up higher inside. And then I've got some of these smaller, really expensive flowers. They totally weren't worth it compared to the other ones. And you get a big bag of the sort of less expensive looking ones for the same price that you get like 30 or 32 or something of those really expensive ones. So yes, but anyway, you sort of just buy things when you buy them, I guess. And I really love these flowers. They're absolutely gorgeous. I'm actually thinking of redoing the beaded trim on this jacket that matches all the colorway of all these beads. So I might save a handful of those beads and use them on that. But anyway, so that's where we are at the moment, and I've got lots of work to do, so I guess I'll go do some work, and I will come back when these takeaway containers are considerably fuller, hopefully. Yes, they are considerably fuller, and I will show you them in a moment. But look at these. In the previous episode where I started doing these, I was like, before I'd started, I was like, I don't get why people use multiple flower things together. And what people who make jewellery do is they often use them sandwiched together with no beads separating them. But I think if you have beads in between, they look like little ballet dancers doing a pirouette or something. I really like them. I think they'd make great earrings, so I might keep back a few of... unfortunately, I used all the expensive ones. See, I have done a lot more and still got more to go, obviously, but there's lots in there and they're quite different. And it's also occurred to me, I'm a little bit slow when it comes to consumerism and capitalism because they're not really my milieu. And this is me showing you how few of the little head pins I have left to go. I still have more packets of them, but finishing this packet, each packet has 500 and this is the second packet. So if they had the right amount in them, that means we have about 1,000 components, which means I could probably start making necklaces. But I was thinking I should do different price points instead of making them all really, really bling, totally over the top necklaces, which is like if I was going to bother wearing jewelry, I'd wear something worth wearing. But other people might just want something simple or something halfway between totally over the top and basic. So I think I'll do different price points. And this is me showing you that the pearls look quite nice together. And there's little seed beads in between them. And seed beads come in different sizes as well. So number 6 is the standard one, and that's 4 millimeters, but there's also like number 10, 11 and 15. 15 is the smallest. So where there's a tiny gap between two of the bigger beads, that just means the seed bead in between is tiny. And I wasn't sure about those purple daisy sequins, but I just use one and I use it and I think it looks really good. When they're in a group, they just look too blue and too iridescent and too much. But when there's just one, they look really good. And look at that middle one is a hand-blown glass bubble bead and they're just amazing. I've got probably a few dozen of them, but I happened to find one. I was like, I'll try it. And it looks like an empty candy machine, doesn't it? So I might try and find some small, really small round beads and see if they fit in the hole of the bubble bead and I can make it look like a candy machine. I think that'd be quite fun. But that one's just clear. Normally when artists make necklaces out of glass bubble beads, they use like fishing wire so you can't see it. But I was like, I'll just see what it looks like using like metal to thread it. So anyway, and this is me showing you. So I'm not going to have flowers on every single one. Every second one is going to be non-flower ones, or ones with small flowers that don't really count as big flower. And obviously they're going to be strung on a chain and it's going to be a whole necklace. This is me showing you the different size length between the long flower ones and the standard flower ones. And I just put a pearl one there because you can sort of see the seed beads clearer when they're hanging. I'm very disappointed. My 4mm round beads don't fit inside the hole of the bubble beads, But I do have smaller 2mm and 3mm round beads, so I might go searching for them after I finish this lot. I won't do it for this lot, so maybe next time round, or maybe when I'm using red beads, because those gumball machines, and they always have red metal bits. The metal bits are painted red, and then so I finished doing the bows finally, the good bows. I still have the other bows to go. But yeah, I finished those, and then I was like, I might make some more fluoro yellow and components. But anyway, so I'm going to work on them next. But I just thought I'd get out the chains to give you an idea, because I keep talking about these necklaces. So I bought a roll of all different sorts of chains, and I like this bottom one here. I like the bottom one and the top one just because they're nice and chunky, and they'll hold the weight of 20 or 30 of these little component things. The second one up is a Figaro, it's called. It's got 3 small, one oval, then 3 circle, then 1 oval, and then this one is a box chain. So it's sort of flattish square or oblongs all linked together. They're quite pretty. So you could just hang maybe one on there like it's a pendant, and that could be a much cheaper price point. And this one here, I love this chain. It's just like a classic, I think it's called a Rollo chain, but it's just a really beautiful finish. And so you can do it as one, or if you wanted to do a lot of dangly bits, you can do 2 layers of the same chain, and because it's sort of a little bit cheaper. And the top one is it's called a Cuban chain, and I really like that one too. Oh my goodness, I went and had a coughing fit, and I'm better now. The thing with, even though it's stainless steel, it's only tarnish resistant. It's not tarnish proof. So you're supposed to store all your metal jewellery in bags so that they don't oxidize in the air. And that just seems like a lot of effort to me. I don't really have jewellery. And I was like, so I'm just going to use up all these chains, and the ones that I like most, I will buy more of. So I think I'll just do it that way and just store them all in a Tupperware container and just use them. But I'll do a haul or an unboxing and show you everything. But I have to work out, because some of them come on 5-meter reels, and some of them come on 10-meter reels, and some of them come on cards and it's just 2 meters. Well, a meter is basically a yard. And so I've got to work out what the price is, because some of them are more expensive, but you get more. So they work out per meter to be less. So, yeah, and that way I guess you just got to do all the boring bit and work out all the price points and how much each thing will be worth. And then you can do all the fun stuff. So once I do the unboxing, I'll go through and work out how much each of the chains are per meter, based on, like, if you buy things in bulk, it's a better price, obviously. So yeah, and this is me just showing you. So I've also been thinking about the designs. Like, I like all these colors together, but obviously there's people who hate fluoro colors, and some people who will just want greens, and just some people will love fluoro colors and only want the fluoro. So I've got those to use as well. So I'll do some pink and purple. I think pink and purple is a good combination for some people, not for me really. Well, I think that would probably be popular. Oh, I just like that one, but it doesn't look good at night. I'll film it again during the day. So that's where I'm at. And this is me showing you the lotus pod. I wasn't sure about the color, but it actually goes really well with everything. So yes, I think I'll use the pink and purple together. I'll make a couple of takeaway containers full of them. And then more that are green, acid green, olive, and fluoro yellow. And yeah. And then the next video you probably see will probably be either an unboxing of all the metal findings for beading, or maybe a fabric and pattern haul one. I'm not sure. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and happy sewing and beading.